So welcome back to Just Local, our podcast, and I've got a great guest with me today because there's a big event happening in Droitwich in the not too distant future. You can see my hoodie that I'm wearing right now if you're watching this. I'm joined by Stuart Panrucker, who's involved with the Rik Mayall Comedy Festival, and I thought it was great to get him on to go through some of the points about what's going to be coming up, let you guys know what's happening, and just find out a little bit more about why it's going to be happening in Droitwich. So Stuart, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Matt.
So people that don't know you, could you just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you became involved in organising the Rik Mayall Comedy Festival?
Yeah, sure. So I've lived in Droitwich for more than a decade now. I guess when we first... I'd never heard of Droitwich when we moved. We just found a nice house and kind of walked round the Lido Park, and I thought, well, this is a bit of a hidden gem. And we kind of, settled, had kids here. So, fully ingrained into the Droitwich as a town. I work in events at the University of Birmingham. It's kind of, my area. So this is a bit of a busman's holiday for me. You've had Richard on before, the councillor, and, he called together a meeting at the Norbury of people interested in setting up a festival. That was the other thing that appealed was all the festivals in Droitwich when I moved here. And I thought, well, this one's going to have to be a bit different. So I'd like to get involved. It's kind of a little bit related to my line of work. I do events, book speakers, that kind of thing, and I've had some connections in there. So I thought, this is a good fit. I was always been looking to do something for Droitwich and the High Street in particular, and just thought it seemed like a great opportunity.
Amazing.
But because it was Rik Mayall, special affinity with him as well, because I was born in Harlow, same place as Rik. He actually lived on the same street as my dad until he was 3, and then moved to Droitwich. My son goes to the Norbury Theatre. He wants to be the next Rik Mayall, so it just all seemed to come together, and I couldn't really not.
And so, we have had Richard Morris in, and why is it in Rik's honour, though? Could you just explain the connection to Rik and Droitwich?
Of course. So when Rik moved here, his parents became a big part of the Norbury Theatre. They ran it. They wrote the pantomimes, wrote plays, directed it, and they were a really big part of it. Rik would operate the spotlights and things, and then eventually he, as a boy, he became the boy in Waiting for Godot that was directed by his dad. So it's got a special resonance for his family at the Norbury Theatre, and which is why it's the hub of the festival.
That's incredible. Yeah, I mean, and that's the point of this podcast as well. We call it Just Local because you don't really realise what's going on around here now or what's gone on around here in the past. So Rik Mayall, he was on the boards at Norbury Theatre, and big involvement. Did he go to? I think he went to a school here in Worcester as well. Did he go to King's?
Yeah, he went to King's. Yeah.
Cool.
And Rashwood, which I think is where Starbucks is now on the A38.
Is that where you went? Yeah, where the little chef used to be. That's where he used to go. Fair enough. So how's it been with the community then? How have the community responded to the festival you got planned?
We've had a brilliant response from the community, as you saw with the kind of the sellout shows at the Norbury on that opening weekend, queues down the street, and I think there were people walking past saying, and members of the Norbury that said they've never in the Norbury's kind of lifetime seen queues down the street for shows at the Norbury. So that, that was a great vote of confidence in the festival and showed the kind of excitement in the town around it, which was great. And the Norbury team have been great as well. But what's been really nice is to see the venues that have embraced it and how much they've embraced it. There's such a range of venues involved that aren't the Norbury as well, and something that was really kind of new to them, and to launch a whole cultural festival from the ground up. It was a big challenge for us, but also for everyone else to take on. We've got, salons, we've got a barbershop, we've got the Working Men's Club, pubs. They're used to occasionally, some of these places used to occasionally having a band on or something like that. But to embrace the whole festival, deal with hundreds of applications coming in from acts, I think, some of these venues have really, really taken it on and made it a real community event for the
So,
town.
so let's explain the whole premise behind the festival. Then we talked about Rik Mayall. We talked about it's in his honour, in his name. But what's the whole idea for this week? Just so everyone kind of gets an understanding of what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's a good question, because it's something we've tried to communicate, sometimes not always that successfully, because there's kind of two parts to it, I suppose. I've called it a hybrid fringe. So to make sure that the festival was a success for the town, we said, look, we'll go out and we'll book acts ourselves at the Norbury. If we have that, we have a festival. Mm-hmm. But what we also wanted to do is to open it up and get people into businesses. We didn't want to put a big tent in a field and have everyone leave town for a week or a weekend or whatever. So yeah, it was really important to bring the festival into the businesses. And that's why it's so important that they've embraced it so much, because it will get people in the door. So the Fringe Festival is something where we've opened up applications from venues, and we've opened up applications to comedians from anywhere. And that is not curated. We don't pick the acts. They can apply to look at our venues list. We've worked with the venues to look at all their tech spec and what we can do for them, things like that. And basically just facilitated a conversation between performers and the venues. And in that sense, it is a completely open fringe. If between them they think a show is going to work, then they can put it on. And so what we then do is promote it for them and just give them the structure of the festival to work within. And having those big acts at the Norbury brings attention to the town, but also helps promote those smaller acts that wouldn't necessarily work in a conventional venue.
Before we get to talk about some of the big acts, because I'm interested to hear some of the names that I've just spotted on the website actually earlier today, but how many acts in total do you think there are, even off the top of your head at the moment, including all of those kind of fringe events that are taking place in the different locations?
So there's more. We know there's at least 25 venues, and there's more than 130 events taking place over 8 days. And really important point is, you've got the big acts at the Norbury, but more than 50% of the shows across the fringe will be free, or pay what you want, a bucket donation for the act as well. So we didn't want to kind of lean on people and make them do stuff for free without paying, but this is something that all the acts and venues have agreed, everyone's going to benefit. The venues will benefit from the bar, and the acts will benefit from a bucket and that extra exposure as well.
So we're just talking about the number of acts that are taking place up and down the town, really throughout the town. How do you find it's going to work? Just in case someone's listening or watching this and they want to know, what do they do on the 31st of May or the 2nd of June when they want to come to the area? Do they just come up, park and just have a wander? Is that the best advice, or is there things they can do beforehand to prepare better?
Well, that's a really good question, and something that we're really trying to plug at the moment is to look on the website now. Okay. Plan your day out, book your tickets, even if it's free, and book your tickets, because some of these venues, they might fit 30 people in. You might find the next big thing and there's 6 of you sat in a salon somewhere. So the first thing to do is look on the website. But if you were to turn up on the day, on the Saturdays, it will have that festival feel going on. We've got stuff going on the first Saturday around Victoria Square, loads of family entertainment. So even if you book one show, you could spend the whole day in Droitwich.
Amazing.
The final Saturday is all in the Lido Park as well as throughout town. So it really is going to kind of take over the town you won't run out of things to do.
That's so exciting. So if you are listening to this and you haven't done that yet, jump onto the website. Can we plug the website quickly?
Yes, please do.
So is it searchable, or
you can just search Rik Mayall Comedy Festival and you will find it, or rikmayallcomedyfestival.com. But we've done a bit of SEO. You're not going to miss it.
Good work, top work. So it's a community-powered event, obviously done by good people like yourself in Droitwich Spa. Lots of volunteers, local businesses and supporters. From that one meeting that you all had, how have you made all this come together? Like what's...
Yeah, I think Richard pointed out to me this morning that on the 16th it would have been a year since the initial meeting. It has been a huge amount of work, but there has been a brilliant team of directors and a committee that are just completely committed and obsessed. our company secretary said, "Oh, it's like an addiction, isn't it? And you cannot stop working on it, because we wouldn't be doing it if we weren't really kind of committed and love the project. But it's just grown into a monster, and from the very beginning, from Richard's first call to action, we knew it was kind of going to be bigger than anything that we or Droitwich had ever really experienced, just because of how much everyone loves Rik. We couldn't really contain it, and that's why the fringe has just grown into such a monster.
It's going to be incredible, and like you said, yeah, for the town of Droitwich Spa, it's something that they've never had before. So there's going to be a lot of people coming into the area specifically for the comedy festival, but then taking away something that they remember from Droitwich Spa, which is great. The festoon lighting, street art, everything else that's going on at the moment in the high street as well. It's going to be powerful.
Yeah, it all seems to be coming together. Really well. Yeah,
good momentum.
Yeah, the high street's so colourful and everything. Great work that you and the place board have done.
Yep. Shout out to Gemma Ranford for organising that. She's done a fantastic job.
Yeah.
So let's now talk about the big acts. Some of those headline acts that you were able to get in, and if you don't mind sharing with the listener, how did you get them as well? I mean, was it through grit and determination, or was it anything in particular? If you just mentioned some of the names, because I mean, really, really recognisable comedians who are big names.
Yeah, I mean, we've got to start with Greg Davies, who is on a huge arena tour for the whole year, selling out arenas. I think his next show after the Norbury is the Royal Albert Hall that he's sold out, followed by 2 shows at Wembley Arena that he's sold out as well. So to have him in the Norbury is brilliant. But yeah, I'll go through some of the other acts in a second. But one, it wasn't really down to us that these people wanted to come. It was down to Rik,
right?
And that connection. And yes, maybe we could have put on a big stage in a field and got 4,000 people to see Greg Davies, but I don't think he would have come if it wasn't for that direct connection to Rik. He's doing it because he gets to go to the theatre where his friend first learned his craft, really. So that's how we're getting people, is really just asking nicely and hoping that the stars align. But it is down to the immense kind of love for Rik and his contribution to comedy. We've got Peter Richardson, who's a good friend of Rik, founder of the comic strip, so really responsible for a lot of Rik's kind of rise to fame. He started the comic strip little club in Soho that spawned so much of alternative comedy of the 80s, and obviously Rik was a huge part of that. Who else have we got? Shaparak Khorsandi, Helen Lederer, another friend and contemporary of Rik. Some I was able to kind of get some of my personal favourites in, people like Paul Foote.
I've booked him for Paul Foote.
Yeah, oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
He's and Angelos Epithemou, and Scott Bennett are 2 that still have tickets left. I should give those a plug, because we announced those kind of quietly as extra editions throughout the week. But trying to find people that were kind of in the spirit of Rik, that were alternative, get a good balance of not have a comedy festival full of old white men, was a real kind of priority of mine. Who else have we got? Tiff Stevenson, she sold out. But we've also got a comedy club for kids. That stuff like that was really important to get on the curated lineup, have something for everyone. So that'll have a mix of great comedians like Mitch Benn, who's a brilliant musical satirist, things like that. Aftermirth, that's for parents with babies under 18 months. So it's comedy with the swearing, but you can bring your babies as long as they don't understand it. So we tried to get something in for everyone.
It is fantastic. The kids club comedy, is that on the Saturday? I think I remember seeing
the first Saturday morning. Yeah. And we've even got a world premiere of a film called Serious About Comedy from the University of Birmingham, and that's got people like Sean Foley on the panel discussion afterwards. Sean Foley was the artistic director of the Birmingham Rep. He's just directed Steve Coogan in Dr. Strangelove. He did Spitting Image at the Rep. John Lloyd, of course, who I almost forgot as well. he's the man behind QI, but also Spitting Image, Blackadder, things like that. So
It
it's just
really is
been a
incredible.
pleasure.
It really is incredible. We're spoiled, and I've seen when I met you early on, we had a VT video from Ben Elton,
Yeah,
and also Dawn French as well. They
yeah,
big supporters.
yeah, massive. They went a long way to legitimizing the project right at the beginning, I suppose. Um, Unfortunately, they can't make it this year, but Ben Elton's written us a brilliant introduction for the program, and he's just been pushing things along. Um, he's given us something to auction off after the festival and things like that. So it's all to do with the kind of long-term legitimacy and sustainability of the festival. We have to have something in our back pocket for next year, don't we?
Yeah, fantastic. Well, that brings me on nicely to the plan. This isn't just a one-off, is it? This is going to be comedy festival going forward, as long as you're willing to keep going.
If I make it through those 8 days, if I'm not divorced and my children haven't just abandoned me by the end of those 8 days, there will be another one.
You'll have some jokes to tell at least.
Oh yeah,
if you remember. But yeah, this is it going to be annually, every other year? What's the thought? Are you just going to take stock once this one's done? And
I mean, we have to, take stock. Send out some questionnaires, see what people thought of the festival, what works and what didn't. Because this is all brand new. To launch this from nothing, I think I can't, and I'm not giving myself the credit for the team behind it have been amazing. That there's some people other than me. I should probably, mention at least the directors of this project, Stuart Fishburn and Julian Powell. They're behind all our finance, which is incredibly complicated, and I'm really glad that I don't have anything to do with it, and our governance. And Janet Yates is our secretary. She's been involved in festivals in Droitwich for a long time. The amount of work they're putting into it is incredible. And I've forgotten the question.
I don't know if there was one. It's all right.
Next year.
Next year. That's right. Yes.
Next year. Yes, we've got to work out what works and how we can make this successful. But I think one thing I do know is it's going to have to grow. I think we won't be able to get the same. The acts we've got in the Norbury, they're all too big for the Norbury. So, to keep on that level, the Norbury will have to be a key part of it, but we do have to look at how we're going to expand the festival. There's still so many acts that have applied that, haven't managed to find a venue.
Really?
And there's so many more venues on our list that, maybe this year we didn't quite get them on board, but let's, this year, proof of concept. We know, a big part of it is going to be a success, is already a success with the Norbury. So let's just prove to the whole town that this works, and I think we'll probably double the community involvement last year, whether we like it or not.
Amazing. And you've got some big sponsors, obviously Nicol & Co, one of them, but Isuzu,
yes,
your headline sponsor.
Yeah, thank you to Nicol & Co. We wanted a mix of national and local sponsors, so we do have Nicol & Co. And we've got Woodland View and Rutter as well. So each kind of supporting different elements of the community part of the festival, I suppose. It's great to have Isuzu. Yeah, again, it's just a big vote of confidence in the festival. There may be a couple of Rik Mayall Comedy Festival branded pickup trucks driving around Droitwich during the festival that I'm very excited about.
We love a podcast exclusive. There we are. We've got one. Come on. That's our 60-second VT sorted again. That's amazing. That's really, really good. So what are you looking forward to most? Obviously, acts we talked about, but what will you kind of go, goosebump moment? What will you what you're looking forward to? Because you have worked very, very hard to get this together alongside the directors, and what do you kind of want to see for it to have been a real success for you?
Well, I want to see the town. I think the first test of it will be that first Saturday, and to see the town buzzing will be what allows me to breathe a little. It's nice to know that so many of those shows at the Norbury have sold out, and there will be a certain kind of critical mass of people there. But I want to see the whole town buzzing. I want to see the barbershop full for its shows. I want to see the Working Men's Club. I want to see Victoria Square. I want to see people in the cafes and the pubs that aren't putting on shows. I'd hope that they will do very well out of it too.
Yeah. Because ultimately they'll be open without ticket only, so it'll be an easy thing to walk into any of those great places.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to be able to walk through with my family and see loads of other families, people coming down. And just enjoying themselves.
Let's just recap that idea of the kind of the family events that you've got going on as well then. So Victoria Square, which is up near to the Heritage Centre and by the library. What's the plan? That's the first Saturday on the 31st of May, sorry.
Yeah. So the whole day at the Norbury is packed with shows as well that are, mostly sold out, but not all. And I do encourage people to go on the website and look and see what kind of gems there are that you might just assume the tickets have all gone for, but there might be a few left. Victoria Square, it's just kind of what you'd expect from a Droitwich festival. It's that kind of local local kind of family festival vibes going on there. There's something going on kind of all day. You'll be able to just spend the day in the town and you will be entertained. There'll be music, there'll be comedy, everything you'd really expect.
And then the Lido on the final Saturday on the 7th.
Lido Park again. Of course, we got the brass bands on the Sunday that were there already, so they all works into the festival. The Lido Park, again, music, comedy, bouncy castles, face painting, everything you'd expect. But also there is a brilliant booking there called the Old Time Sailors. Brilliant kind of sea shanty band. I think there's about 16 of them or something. But again, they are touring shows and people are paying £30 a ticket for it, and that will just be there for everyone for free.
Amazing. Fantastic. Stuart, I'm really, really grateful for you coming on today. Is there anything else we need to make people aware of? So although there was a post that went out, not a post, there was a bit in the press that said that tickets had all sold out. There are still tickets available.
There's still tickets. We're still adding shows. You'll see the programmes start to appear in supermarkets and venues and things soon. Just look at the website, find something new. There's still stuff at the Norbury. We might add more things, you never know. But it's not all about the Norbury. Go out and explore.
That felt like another exclusive there. There might be more being added.
That's a very big might at the moment.
There's a good hook to make sure you're checking every day though. You've got to go onto that website every day just in case.
Definitely, yeah. And they're the kind of things that you will want to book.
I heard there might be a release of some tickets to something that's already sold out possibly as well.
Yeah, for quite a few of the sold out shows, there might be a couple of kind of production holds as we work out the final numbers, because obviously with such an intimate venue, we've had to be very careful. But keep checking back. And while you're at it, look at all the other things, that all the people you haven't heard of, and just kind of plan your day. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, just put yourself down in the town and then obviously organise your day for it. But if you're there on the Saturday, then book around it, book some events, and obviously give yourself some breathing time, get yourself in the Talbot or anywhere else in the area. Closing question. If you could give any advice to anyone looking to get involved in organising community events like this, what would it be?
I shouldn't say don't, should I? No.
Please no. Inspiring, come on.
Just surround yourself with good people. I think what we found is, the people that are really good, really committed, have stuck around for a year, but just get involved. It is a lot of work, and you do have to really care about what you're doing, why you're doing it, and care about the town and want it to be a success. There's nothing in it for us apart from the kind of personal satisfaction of doing it, and it does. This is Janet Yates's words, our secretary. It is an addiction. So just embrace it and put yourself out there and keep an eye out for the next big thing, I suppose.
Amazing. Stuart Panrucker, thank you ever so much for coming on Just Local Podcast. So that's the Rik Mayall Comedy Festival, 31st of May to the 7th of June. You've heard it a few times. You need to go onto the website and check it regularly, because you could book your own tickets, even for some acts you think might have already sold out. There may be some coming available again, but there's some really, really good acts that may not have made it to the main stage yet and could be up and coming. So pick a venue, pick an act, and get yourself down into Droitwich High Street between the 31st of May to the 7th of June. Thanks for joining us. If you want any more of this, please like, share and follow, and we'll keep you updated with the next guest on Just Local.